I am Jessica Butts. Welcome to the Front Seat Life podcast, where I help you learn to be unapologetically who you are and live your life from the front seat through personal development, self-awareness, and real and raw conversations about life, love, and business. I'm a former psychotherapist and couples counselor turned author, speaker, coach, and lovingly, well, I hope so anyway, been nicknamed Jessica Kick Butts because I believe sometimes we need hand holding and sometimes we just need to be told the freaking truth, even if it hurts a little. So each week I'll be sharing truth bombs, life lessons, powerful interviews, and intuitive insights to empower you to get up, show up, and live your life in a new, powerful, authentic way. So if you're ready to climb into your front seat and embark on a journey of total transformation, you have come to the right place. Start your engines. Let's do this. Hello, Front Seat Lifers. Hello. It is Jessica, your host, and it is in middle of COVID right now. It is April 17th as this is airing, and I want to have a deeply personal podcast with you because everybody has different reasons that they do their business, that they do podcasts, that they show up in this world. And one of my core values, one of my reasons for existence is to be vulnerable and share my life experiences with you. So it's going to get real. It's going to get real today. And I'm very lucky to not get hate mail. I don't get it. And I'm very grateful for that. But I'm going to caveat this, that this is my experience and everybody's having their own experience right now. Like, I'm not going to sit around and judge parents as they're going through their own situation. And I ask that you don't judge mine as a business owner and as a single person, because these lessons, while they're deeply personal, they're also my own, which the reason I'm sharing them is that I hope that you learn something from them. And then secondary is I'm going to tell you how I figured this out in middle of COVID, in middle of a launch, what I've been doing to have this deeply impactful life lessons that are coming through very clearly. So there's going to be two parts of this podcast. One is what I'm learning, again, as a business owner, as a woman, as a partner, as a friend, as a daughter, kind of all of those things. And then I'm going to tell you how that's happening so that you can hopefully learn from both. But again, there's parents out there, there are single parents, there are single people. Like, I live by myself, but I'm not, I'm in a relationship. And so everybody has their own situation. So again, there might be parents out there that are like, wow, this is, good for you. And, again, I just ask that you save your hate mail for not me. Okay, let's jump in. So in full transparency, I don't think there's a way for me to have my thoughts 100% formulated because I'm doing something I don't normally do, which is I'm sharing my thoughts in middle of my thoughts. As a leader and a podcaster and a business owner, typically the way that we like to do things is to share our shit basically on the other side of it. Well, I don't really play that game because one of my number one core values as a business owner and as a human being, and part of the commitment I made to this podcast, is that I will keep it real and be transparent with you in hopes that you learn something for yourself. And that's what I'm going to do. This is not perfected. I do not have everything dialed in. In fact, I think I'm going to straight up read you from my journal. I mean, that is so unbelievably vulnerable. But as I was writing it just this morning, it's not formulated. It's not perfected. And it's just coming out of me. So let me back it up and talk about last week. So last week was the launch of my best program that I've ever put together called Live Unapologetically. It's specifically for intuitive types, and I'm obsessed with it. And I have been in a launch sequence plan for about 4 months, really, just working on it, perfecting it, spending, tens of thousands of dollars, teams, all the things. So last week was the launch. I will say it's actually going, here's the deal. In my head, let me be clear, in my head, I had a hope. And that number or metric did not happen. Not even close. The whole podcast episode is why this is happening for me, not to me. So I'm kind of over it. I sat in sadness and grief and shifting expectations last week. It was deeply personal. It was deeply wounding. And now this week, just 1 week later, I have done what I'm going to hopefully teach you to do is this week I've gotten quiet. So every hard time in my life, there is what I would consider a breakthrough after the breakdown. And there's probably been, this might be the 5th or so, I would say, full on breakdown. Like it was bad. It was pacing. I don't suffer from anxiety, but I would say that was the closest to a panic attack I've ever gotten. That and these 5 other times in my life. One was when, I found out my husband was having an affair. That was real bad. Another was when I started my business and absolutely nothing was working, on my knee moments, just praying to God, yelling a little bit, all the feelings. I don't have all these figured out in my head, but when I decided to leave my marriage was definitely another one. There was certainly, the other one was, so this is the 5th one. So that's 3. 4 is when, it seems like the least of them, but it was actually one of my worst breakdowns, is when I thought I was going to move to Hawaii. And I put in all of this effort to do that. And then I realized that the only reason I was doing that was to run away from the fact that I didn't want to put in the investment to find a relationship. Boom. Okay. So, and now I'm in the 5th one. And here's the deal with all of those. You've got to have the breakdown before you have the breakthrough. You've got to have the breakdown before you have the breakthrough. 1000%. Those 5 times in my life have been the most painful and the most rewarding. That shit happened for me, not to me. As is COVID. So first of all, COVID is happening for me, not to me. My weird launch, I'm not even going to call it not successful because it's massively successful now. Last week, again, when I was in the breakdown, you can't see that. But then when you come out on the other side of it, when you can have the breakthrough, I actually don't know. I can't speak for other people. Maybe you can do this, but I've never actually had a real breakthrough if I didn't have a breakdown. I think I've had many breakthroughs. I think I've had ahas. Let's say that. I've had many, many, many ahas. But a real breakthrough comes after a breakdown. And here's how you have to do that. 1, you got to allow yourself to have the breakdown. You got to feel the feels. You got to lose your shit. You got to scream at God, pray to God, on your knees moments, journal like a mofo, just let it out, scream, yell, cry. I cried more last week than I have, I don't know, in a really long time. And just letting it out, feeling the feels, talking it. I talked it out with a lot of trusted people, but I also did what I'm about to say, which is I got quiet. And I'm continuing to get quiet. last week, I live by a lake, which I'm really grateful for right now. And it's also been beautiful and sunny in Seattle. And last week, when I was having my breakdown, I just shut things out. I turned my phone off. My team knew that, it was disappointing. So they were also like giving me space and being loving and quiet. And I just journaled and I cried it out, and I talked to my partner every day, and he just let me be. And I talked to my mom, and I talked to my mastermind. I talked to my best friends. They were so good. They were so good. They continue to be so good. And then this week, I went away with my partner for the weekend. We were being socially distant from other people and being safe, but we went away, and I came back, and this week I have spent more time by myself in just utter isolation and quiet than I have in a long time. And that is what is allowing me to have these major breakthroughs in my business and in my life. And here's the deal. This is the pause. This is the pause that we all ask for all the time. I was just having this conversation with my partner last night. He works a very kind of chaotic and busy job, and it's very kind of emotionally draining in a way. There's just a lot going on. So while they're working from home, he's like, my creativity is back. I have time to process things. I have time to sit and ponder. He's like, I'm the most creative I've been in years because I actually have the time. And I'm also feeling that. And as intuitive specifically, and I know that the podcast listenership, our type is an INFJ. That is, who we are as a group, or INFJs. And because I just did this the other day and it was fun to figure it out, is that we need to pause. So as I've been asking myself a lot of questions of who do I want to be on the other side of this? What do I want my new normal to be on the other side of this? All of these kinds of questions. I've straight up decided that this pause is going to continue in my life, meaning I am going to work less. I am getting our team way more streamlined and in their zone of genius, which is already happening. That we and I need downtime to tap into our intuition. So that breakdown allows you to ask those kinds of questions. What is not working? What is not working in my relationship? What is not working as being a parent? What is not working with our finances? I mean, we're all looking at that right now, right? Like, how many people have said, I will never, ever not have a savings account of such and such dollars again? We're all doing that. This is how we ask ourselves in the breakdown, what do I want my new normal to be? So in full honesty, our team and my life, I'll just speak for myself, has gotten very busy. It has gotten so busy. The team has gotten huge. It's a little bit chaotic. There's a lot of people not in their lane. My Slack channel's blowing up. My Marco Polo's blowing up. There is very little. I was over busy. It felt like this constant demand. And now I'm realizing, as we kind of had that last week. I had the breakdown. This isn't going to go as we expected. God had a different plan. God had a different plan. And I'm thankful that he did. I'm actually very, 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 very grateful that God had a different plan, because here's the deal. And I know I'm all over the place. I apologize. So I prayed. This is what I do. I am a Christian who says the F word a lot. I've said that before. And as a Christian, I pray that this is God's plan often. So during my events and when I have big launches and, when I meet somebody wonderful, which I, did almost a year and a half ago anyway. But if this is your plan, I pray that this is your plan. So I did that during this launch, right before the launch. And the day of it, I mean, I know that when you launch something and the last day and the first day are always the biggest days, I could see the writing on the wall. And I was like, okay, wow, this is not God's plan. That went into the breakdown. But the breakthroughs that I'm getting are 1,000 million times better than what that would have been. And here's why. Because I would have stayed on this course. If that would have gone as planned, I, as an ambitious ENFJ, would have said, okay, well, this is what we're going to keep doing. Keep building the team, more Slack, more launches, more busy. This works. So let's keep doing this. Now, God's plan, and the message is COVID or not. I mean, that's what's interesting right now. COVID or not, I get to ask myself, is this working for me? Is this working for me as a 46-year-old woman running a business? Is this the way that I want my life? And the answer is no. And the bottom line is, I would not have gotten that message if the launch would have gone as planned. Because I wouldn't have had to look at it. It's just like a relationship, right? If things are fine, I've shared this before, but how many times in my marriage did I say, okay, God, one more fuck up, please. Just have him do something one more time. After there'd been 50 fuck ups, oh, one more, and then I'll finally leave. This is the message that we're getting. We have to be paying attention. So this is the message from God, is that this was not the plan. The plan is you need to look at things. You need to look at your life. You need to look at your team. How can people be more in their lane? How can they be in their zone of genius? Do you really need to keep growing? What makes you happy, Jessica? What feeds your soul? So this Monday, I decided that we are 1,000% opening registration for the new Live Unapologetically course, on schedule starting April 7th. As a feeler, I struggled for days about if and how to proceed with launching this new course in light of how the spread of the coronavirus has drastically changed our lives. Ultimately, of course, I want to be sensitive and respectful of the challenging reality that we're all facing collectively with this crazy pandemic. Entrepreneurs like myself are walking a very tight rope of continuing to do what we love and keep the economy going in our small way. I can succumb to fears and worry, cut back my online presence, and become overly concerned with people's opinions of my actions, basically staying stuck in my back seat. But no, I refuse. That is not authentic to me and my spirit. Front seat Jessica plays aloud and proud and gives in big ways. I have a visceral need to serve and support you. You may have seen me doubling down my presence in the Front Seat Squad, which, I'm sorry, by the way, if you've not joined yet, get your booty in there. I'm live in there almost every single day right now. So after lots of reflection and intuitive checks, I have realized that I am obligated, straight up obligated, to deliver these critical lessons inside this course to all the struggling women, myself included, who need tools and reminders right now during this crazy, unexpected crisis. I cannot hold this content hostage. It is my duty to open this course. I would be doing you a huge disservice if I canceled or postponed this course, because it contains not only highly useful and relevant tools for the challenges we are facing, but also a huge community element with intimate live coaching. My hope is that you can let this course carry you through this crisis and inevitable future crises with tangible tools and a tribe of women who get you. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to pretend that big, potential scary things aren't impacting all of us. It is. But I am still choosing to take intentional and purposeful steps forward with my front seat and in alignment with my core values of connection and to be of service. So my team and I have made adjustments to the course offer that I know you're going to love and will allow more of you to join. So stay tuned in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It's crazy. It's coming up. For all of those details on the bonuses, which we seem to be adding every week. There are now 6 bonuses, prices and new specials, add-ons and freebies. You're going to want to grab a friend. So tell them now, grab a friend. And for now, in the next 3 weeks, I'm introducing a ton of the course content for free inside the Front Seat Squad through my daily lives, connections, and I'm even going to be doing some Zoom stuff here. So, my friends, now is not the time to back down. You and I can do hard things. Friends, take my hand and let's summon our strength together to deepen our understanding of ourselves and others, which I cannot imagine a more important time than now to do that. I got you. And I had gotten too busy to be. Most of you know I tattooed the word be on my arm. It's the only tattoo I have to remind me to be. And of course, this is now like this blaring light in my face. I was too busy to be. One of my very best friends, Jenny Dawn, we go walking at least every couple of weeks. And in full transparency, I was late for months. I was late every single time, And I'm a J. It's not like me. She's lovingly there on time, has got tea waiting for me. And I'm the asshole who's always late because I'm just too fucking busy. And reality was I was. I'd have 3 podcasts or events or this, or I said hi to this or yes to this, or I'm helping this person or I'm doing this or whatever. And I was always running and chaotic and busy and doing the things. And the last time we got together, which was when it was somewhat safe to go out, I was on time and I didn't feel chaotic. And it felt good. It felt good to slow down. It felt good to be. It felt good to not feel out of control. So this is the lesson for me. And how are these the lessons for you? Do you need to have a breakdown? Maybe you're already having a breakdown. But here's the deal. I'm guessing many of you are. I mean, I'm on Facebook. I see the things. I have clients. I have friends. I know people are having breakdowns. It's now time to ask yourself these questions. How do I want my new normal to be after this? And here's the thing. You can change anything you want. There's a lot of people. In fact, I just did a webinar the other day and I talked about a morning practice, and my assistant told me that everybody on the webinar was commenting, oh, I can't stick to my morning practice. I can't get up earlier. I can't do whatever. And I'm going to be honest. I don't have any fucking patience for that. Yes, you can. That's my only answer to that. I'm not going to fucking hold your hand. I'm not going to come to your house and make you do it. You're the only person that can do that. If you don't think you can save time to journal and take care of your mental well-being, then you ain't got time for nothing, people. They call me Jessica Kickbutts for a reason. I'm sorry, but I'm here to tell the truth. Like, that is fucking ridiculous to me. It's just absurd to me that people say things like the most basic thing for self-care, like, I can't do that or I can't stick to it. Yes, you can. That's just it. You can do anything you want. And I'm not saying you have to want to do everything. Let's get real about that. Like, I'm not a super big worker-outer. I've always said that. I don't bust my own balls and say, oh, I can't do that. I choose not to. Let me be very clear about that. I choose not to. The word I can if I wanted to. I can if I wanted to. I don't want to. It's not a priority to me. We can't all do everything, by the way. And that's the other part of this, about tapping in to your intuition. What do you want? Not what do I want for you? Not what does Rachel Hollis want for you? Not what does Amy Porterfield want for you? Not what your spouse wants for you. What do you want? What do you want? And then you can fucking do that. You can. You just have to make a choice. Again, maybe it's not a morning practice. I think it should be. But again, you don't have to listen to me either. What is your intuition telling you? I have decided, and I think I've known this for years, I just am getting crystal clear that trusting your intuition is the intuitive way. I've said this forever. I've felt this in my gut forever. Don't fucking tell me how somebody else is doing something because I'm going to do it my own way. This is the intuitive way. We don't like rules. We don't like to be told what to do. We are actually not comparison people. I don't compare myself to other people. I just don't listen. If I get a twinge of like jealousy, I just turn that shit off for however long. Or I just don't look because I know my two greatest guides in this world are my intuition and God/the universe. And I'll tell you, the only time that I get signs, messages, downloads, breakthroughs after the breakdowns is when I am quiet. If you are a business owner, and I'm going to do a whole separate podcast on this. If you are a business owner, this literally is my don't do stuff you suck at methodology. So we're about to do don't do stuff you suck at summer school again. And yes, there's a success path. Yes, there's a lot of stuff in it. Yes, I will teach you all the things about social media and all the things, right? There's all the tactical brain thinky things. And the number one thing, the don't do stuff you suck at methodology is your job description. Your number one job is to get quiet. I can't even be the greatest message for you. You are your greatest message. In full transparency, there is part of this launch that we took from Amy Porterfield. Like she's right, the launch queen, DCA, Digital Course Academy. She teaches you how to do all the things. And she's very, very successful in what she does. And she's not me. And she may not be you. So what is my way of doing things? What is your way of doing things? I know, and again, this is why this is happening for me, not to me, is I now know more than ever before, I need to trust my intuition. I need to have freedom, flow, and fun in every single thing I do. Yes, there needs to be a plan. Yes, you need to have system, structure, singular focus. Yes, you need to get your ass out of bed at a certain time of the day. Absolutely, hell yes to all of those things. And as an intuitive, we do things different. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to say on a podcast. I just was like, I did this morning. This is going live tomorrow. I tried very, very, very hard for about 12 to 14 months to have a content calendar for this podcast. My loving, wonderful assistant, Stephanie, has been busting my balls for I don't know how long about like what's coming, what's the plan. And I just finally gave it up and I just said, okay, stop, because this does not work for me. It might work for Amy Porterfield. It might work for all the other awesome podcasters out there. It does not work for me. And again, this isn't self-serving. I just hope that that you can hear something that resonates with you. I'm just telling you all the things that I'm learning. That trusting my intuition is the don't do stuff you suck at methodology, because we are intuitives. It isn't about metrics or a content calendar. It's trusting our gut, our own intuition, and our creativity. I'm going to read you some. I'm kind of reading from my journal, just those last 2 sentences. So let me pick up where that left off. And, I might say something in here that's horribly embarrassing, but whatever. I just wrote this morning. We must find space, create space. This is part of our job description as creatives. No SMART goals, no metrics, but creativity, flow with system, structure, singular focus. We must still have that, but that is why in morning practice or some other time of the day, I actually don't give a shit when you do it. Again, I'm not a rule person. Just fucking do it. It is literally part of our job, your job. Again, I'm reading right from my journal. In fact, it is the most important thing you can do. That is why structure is so important, because the universe and God know where to find you. You can make excuses. You can remain busy, but this is the gift of space, the gift of time, the gift of freedom to create, dream, and restructure what's not working. Literally reading one more paragraph. You can do anything. What's not working? You can change anything. This COVID is forcing us to see this. I absolutely would not have seen this if the launch had met, in air quotes, metrics in my head, not my heart, my head. God had another plan, and I am so grateful it didn't go as I wanted, because nothing would have changed. Nothing would have changed. So, my friends, there's a lot more to come on this. I'm going to do another podcast with Tarzan K this afternoon. She is crazy like me and also did a launch and is learning all kinds of things. But these are the lessons. You can hear me probably flipping my journal right now, that this is the pause. This is the opportunity for the breakthrough after the breakdown. But you got to get real. You got to get real with yourself. There's no more I can'ts bullshit. Yes, you can. You can do anything you want. But you got to decide, what is it that you actually want? I decided I don't love launching. I don't love the anxiety, the craziness, it's insanity. I don't love it. So I'm going to change it. And I can do that. We can do anything we want. You just got to know what it is that you want. And the only way to do that is to get quiet. To get quiet. I've spent more time being quiet this week than I have in a long time. And I'm going to do it again next week. The launch is over and I am going to my mom's, who's not there. And I'm going to spend 3 days by myself in a house that does not have a television. And I'm just going to get more quiet than ever before. What can be your breakthrough after this breakdown? And how is this happening for you, not to you? All right, my friends, I'll see you next week. From the bottom of my heart, truly, thank you so much for listening. I know that you have a ton of options, and the fact that you are taking time to listen to the Front Seat Life podcast means absolutely everything to me. If you're interested in learning more about the Front Seat Life way of life in the community, there's a couple ways that you can do that. First is always starting with your personality assessment tool. It's available on my website at jessicabutts.com. It's totally free, and it will help you figure out your personality type so you'll have some idea of what we're talking about. Next is, if you're you're interested in hiring me for a keynote or some coaching or strategy days or the fabulous and amazing Front Seat Life community, you can find out all about all of that at jessicabutts.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.